Unfortunately, there is a new worst response to COVID contender on the international scene. You've probably seen those charts that track the cumulative growth of coronavirus cases as a kind of metric of how well various countries have been handling the pandemic, how bad their outbreaks have been. And the U.S. there, you see at the top, it has been bad, right? It's at the top. But look what's coming up the hill. Brazil, which right now has one of the worst outbreaks in the world. Here's NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely in Brazil.
On Brazil's front line, the casualties are mounting horrifically. Tens of thousands of new cases every day. This intensive care unit, like most, full.
What's striking is how young people are in here.
Yeah, it's incredible because most of people is around 40 years old.
40. And some are in their 30s.
Yes, yes.
The death toll is doubling so fast they can't dig the graves quickly enough. These are the most vulnerable, living in Latin America's most densely populated area. Their poverty turbocharging Brazil's death toll.
People live here sometimes 6 or 7 to a room, so social distancing is impossible. And if they don't go out to work, they don't eat.
Tá muito difícil.
You're worried, it's difficult.
And they're scared. Most people don't wear masks. They can't get them. They've lost jobs, so they're fed by aid groups. In the center of Brazil's richest city, the newly jobless line up for food. Their president announced billions in aid, but he wants lockdowns to end and Brazil to get back to work. At a soccer stadium, a new field hospital, ready for the next wave. Brazil, say experts, still weeks away from its peak of infections.
And Bill Neely, who's been doing great reporting on this, joins me live tonight from Sao Paulo. Bill, there's a bunch of things in your reporting that you show that people's poverty, the fact that it's very difficult for them to not work, particularly if they have jobs that require their physical presence, the fact that people are living close together. But I wondered if you could talk a little bit about Bolsonaro's approach to this, which has been, to say the least, distinct from other world leaders in terms of how he's approached it.
Absolutely, Chris. Completely defiant and unrepentant. You may remember that when Brazil passed 5,000 deaths, he was asked about that and he said, so what? What do you want me to do? When it passed 10,000 deaths, he took a trip on a jet ski and said to some people at a barbecue, look, 70% of the population are going to get this. There's nothing we can do. Now it's past 20,000. You might expect some presidents or heads of state to give a somber speech. No, President Bolsonaro simply doubled down on his call for the lockdowns to end. And Chris, just within the last few minutes, Johns Hopkins University figures show that Brazil is now the second country in the world for cases. And again, just a few minutes ago, another 1,000 deaths were announced today. So there is a crisis here. But as far as President Bolsonaro is concerned, he's simply looking the other way.
You just mentioned something that I've been sort of following in this story that has some echoes here in the U.S., which is obviously there's a sort of federal system there. There's states and there's mayors that there are local elected leaders who have been attempting lockdowns, have been very serious about trying to get people to stay indoors and fight the virus. And Bolsonaro has been at war with them, essentially. I mean, there's sort of this battle happening between local leaders and the federal government. Is that right?
There is a battle, and probably the 24 state governors are actually united in opposition to the president. So he is still calling for the lockdowns to end. He doesn't believe in social distancing. I spoke to the governor of Sao Paulo just a while ago, and he said there are two viruses in Brazil. One's coronavirus, and the other one is Bolsonaro virus. So, yes, I mean, there is and that's the problem for ordinary people. You know, in this city, there are 20 million people. And as a doctor said to me today, 10 million people are in lockdown, but 10 million are out on the streets. So 10 million people potentially are spreading the infection further. And people genuinely don't know who to listen to. And in a slum like the one you saw me in, I mean, people were saying to me, look, I need to go out to work to feed my family. But if I go out to work, my family might not survive because I may bring the virus in and infect them. So people are really caught and there's no leadership from the top, or at least no united national strategy whatsoever, Chris.
Story out of Brazil. It really is one of the most distressing stories in the world right now, what's happening there. And Bill Neely, you've been doing remarkable reporting on it. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.